Whilst being sick with COVID and needing an excuse to replay Bioshock, I decided to go and make another YouTube video. So I thought to myself, can you beat Bioshock with only the wrench? After a very unfortunate plane crash in which everyone survived and had a very happy day, I got my daily water intake that my doctors always told me to get, swam to the surface, and discovered a giant beacon in the sky which totally won't have anything bad happen to me. And I made my journey there. After climbing up the steps into this very convenient lighthouse that totally doesn't have anything to do with the later story, I discovered how great of a government this was. I mean, honestly, guys. Hopped in a brass sphere. And descended into the depths of Rapture. A very beautiful city, with definitely nothing wrong with it. Very convenient. Watched a man's intestines get turned into jam. And then met a very nice man on the radio who seems to be very kind, named Atlas. Picked up the holy wrench itself after admiring it for a couple seconds. And then I began my journey with my very nice, beautiful wrench, the holy weapon itself. Now, the combat, I put it on easy because I'm not a psychopath, so I just pulverized this man's cranium with only 2 shots. I did drugs, which you should never do. Heard a bone tingle. Took a very nice nap. Witnessed the graciousness of a Big Daddy. His magnificent drill. And then I was off with my newfound drug-infused powers that I'll never use. Now, at this part in the run, I'll let you guys know I'm never going to use plasmids to harm another enemy, but they do need to be used for puzzle-solving mechanics, so that's the only reason I'll be using them, and it'd be stupid not to. I finally made my way through the tube, watched this glass cracked and popped, tried to break it, realized my mistake, and ran. And then I moved on to the next area. I got to watch a beautifully flaming elevator. I then proceeded to watch a man burn to death, very slowly and agonizingly, until he hit me and I turned him into an art piece. I heard Atlas have a seizure. Then proceeded to kill a mother and her ugly child. Watched a man witness his fate right before his eyes. Then I also witnessed him make the biggest mistake of his life. Then proceeded to get a very quick and painless death, YouTube, from a Big Daddy. He's just sleeping. I then proceeded to meet my first hardest enemy, the Leadhead, which only took 3 hits. And then I proceeded onto the electric plasmid section, which you're meant to use the plasmids for, but I was a beast. Then proceeded to watch a man rant about his city or whatever and some government. Thought I could fight off his splicers, and then proceeded to get terrified and bash on the door until Atlas opened it, which took way too long. Discovered hacking with pipes, and then I had to deactivate my only friend. Had a very quick episode of schizophrenia. And then proceeded to fight the hardest boss in the game so far, a turret. And then unto the true hardest enemy I've met, a nitro splicer, who practically killed himself with his own grenade. And then I discovered that if I can't have a camera, no one can. Turned a body into a furnace, and then the furnace decided just to pop out a potion. Got the incinerate plasmid. I was on my way, and I discovered my saving grace, the beauty of Wrench Jockey, and I was on my way to get it. After being absolutely blasted with a rocket, going through a vent, I discovered it. The one thing that would help me throughout this entire run, Wrench Jockey, permanently upgrading the wrench damage for me. This would be the lifesaver. And I realized that you could skip this entire section if you just didn't pick up the shotgun, although some doors don't open. Played a little bit of baseball with my wrench. This went way longer than it should have. Now you're going to sit through it with me. Alright, moving on. I got the telekinesis plasmid. Watched a Big Daddy meander around with his little sister. Oh, so beautiful. Threw a grenade at a wall, which did no damage to any enemies. Met a very polite doctor. After he called me ugly, I became offended, and so did he, so he decided to absolutely mow me down with a machine gun. At least it can't be his best medical bills. I then proceeded to beat him to death with my wrench, which did a substantial amount of damage with the Wrench Jockey perk. Met a neat lady called Tenenbaum, who raised these little things. She offered me a potion too, some sort of plasmid that allowed me to save them rather than bash their heads in and grab the slug from them. Interesting. I decided to make this entire run harder, and I decided to save every single little sister after this point. Don't mind me beating it either. So can you beat Bioshock with only the wrench and saving every little sister? Adds more to it. I then got the Armored Shell perk, which reduces all physical damage, thank God. And then I met my final toughest foe, a bouncer, better known as the Big Daddies themselves. After looting up a little, I went and took him on. With a slight bat with my little wrench, I ran for Paul's glorified baby gate. Once I made it to the beautiful sweet spot, all I had to do was just bash its head in until it dies. After fighting this thing for way too long, I saved the little sister. Alright, moving on. And now, I was moving on, and I discovered another Big Daddy, teabagged him because I killed his friend, and moved on. I finally escaped the medical pavilion, moving on into Neptune's bounty. Going into another brass sphere. And then I made it to Neptune's bounty, and witnessed a poor man. Saw Rosie, said screw that, and decided to take out every other enemy before I witnessed this pain and just suffering. And then I decided to finally take on the Rosie, which was surprisingly harder than a Big Daddy. And then I got the next little sister. Thank God. Knocked on a door. Met a hermit. Found another Rosie. Cried a soft tear, and then bashed it with my wrench. Even on easy mode, these cretins will sift through all your medkits, leaving me with only 2.5 health. Finally got the camera. Saw a man praising God. What a good man. Definitely wouldn't hurt anyone. Then proceeded to take his photograph and add it to my cringe compilation. Took another photo of a splicer. And another. Another. But this one was mid-shot too. And I met another Rosie. How fun. After that intense battle, I realized that the vents do absolutely nothing but just screw up the AI of the Rosie. What fun. I then proceeded to get the next Eve upgrade. Then moved on to the Pneumo. Basically didn't need anything because I already had my wrench. Absolutely beat this poor Nitro Splicer man to death. Don't even remember his name, he was that unimportant. Then I moved on. Tried to save Atlas's family, which definitely is going to go well. Don't know why I stood here for so long. And then I watched this family proceed to get absolutely blown up. Hooray. I could care less. Then I moved on. Atlas absolutely bawling his eyes out over his fake, real family. I'm not going to spoil this game. This game is from 2007. Who cares? Once I exited the bulkhead, moved my way through a hallway, witnessed the Bibles, a couple of them actually. And made it into the glorious place of Arcadia. Heard a few noises behind me and met the Magic Man. Took an instantaneous photo of him. Beat a few Magic Men and then realized that there was a Rosie. You know what this means. Yay. You'll come to realize with every Big Daddy or Rosie battle that slowly it just gets easier and easier with the more photos and upgrades I get. After making it through Arcadia for a bit, I get Rapture Metro closed off by the fun-loving Andrew Ryan who kills the entire species of tree in this area. Then meet up with some scientist lady who says she needs a rose. I'm sorry, but I'm just not into that crap, honestly. Met another Rosie. Yay! We're getting somewhere, guys. Only had to speed it up 4 times rather than 8. Means we're getting stronger. Which means more Big Daddies to kill. Got the rose that she so desperately wanted. Then proceeded to watch the lady who took my rose get gassed to death. I could literally care less for this woman. Oh yeah, a Rosie. You know what that means?
Gross! I could take it right from the ocean.
See, the only reason this fight was different is because I had to listen to a man ramble about wine and water for like 10 minutes straight. How grand. Went into the magic beekeeping room. I got stung more times than I can remember while I was trying to turn on the smoke control. I zoomed through the bee room because I was absolutely terrified of the outcome if that smoke started pouring out. I then bashed another man's head in so far they turned into a ragdoll. And then I got the Lazarus Vector working. After fighting dozens of hordes of enemies, finally get the Lazarus Vector deployed. Then, making it to Rapture Metro, moved on to the next area. Trying to make it to the next area, I discovered I'm not going to be making it, and I have to deal with whatever this show is. I realized that this show was put on by an interesting man by the name of Sander Cohen. I guess I'm going to be his errand boy. Moving on through the Fleet Hall, as he would say for me to do. I got to watch a very interesting man play the piano next to a very... I don't know how to describe him. Just didn't really talk much. Very still, too. Gotta respect it.
Let me out of there!
Well, he perished. I then added his picture to the collection. Beat another splicer in. Danced to this beautiful song. Then I went into Poseidon Plaza, hunting down his little henchman. After being frozen to death, I woke up like a reborn Walt Disney. I then bashed his forehead in, which took a couple tries. Got a very nice picture of his body. Saw an elite bouncer after adding this photo. After that, I realized how terrible it was to freeze Big Daddies and how much longer it took. Which was oh so annoying. I then beat a corpse into oblivion after freezing it a couple times because I got bored. Saw another elite bouncer. Got very disappointed. Then I realized I can defeat them so fast I don't even need to speed up the footage. Happy days. This is honestly becoming quite tedious, I could say. Met this man who was just trying to enjoy a drink who then promptly killed himself. Saw another elite bouncer. That's it. And that's another little sister rescued. Not even like when we used Adam anyways. Spent my fortune.
It won't go well. It won't go well at all.
Got some wise words from the Magic Man himself. Wasted my life away in gambling. Then I won and vowed never to do gambling again. saw another man who actually escaped for a second and then killed himself, just like the last. And then finally I added this photo to the thing. Added another photo, and I got to meet the glorious Sandra Cohen himself, who then gave me his bottle of whatever, which is actually decently useful. I then exited Fort Frolic. Made it to the Hephaestus core. And then I made it. The beauty of bloodlust, giving me health and Eve every time I inflicted damage with the wrench. Realized I couldn't get through his door. And then I got to witness another Big Daddy. How great. As in the great words of Freddie Mercury, another one bites the dust.
The last grapple.
Met another Big Daddy.
I will lead the parade. Who was that, they'll say, as they point to the sad shape hanging on my wall. Who was that?
Hey, an assassin. That's rich. I could have gone along, I suppose.
After getting Bloodlust, I basically became invincible to all Big Daddies and basically anything. Met another Big Daddy who was already angry at me. At this point, they just became super easy. I then discovered the EMP bomb, which I needed spare parts for. After killing every Big Daddy, I was able to get all the R34 wires, the nitroglycerin, all the ionic gels I needed, another R34 wire, and the final one. And then I was able to construct the EMP bomb, which I promptly shoved in my back pocket. And then I had to turn this valve for way too long. I eventually got just slightly moved over, just a little bit, which then proceeded to make me bash everyone's forehead in. And they say I have anger management. I then activated the bomb and took down the entire Hephaestus core. Had a quick thought, met the man himself, then promptly murdered him with his own golf club. I then teabagged his corpse as the entirety of Rapture was falling. Got betrayed by my friend Atlas, who was actually Frank Fontaine, who could have guessed. Whilst escaping with the little sisters, I went through a vent, tried to take pictures of them for research, and just passed out. Earned Tenenbaum's favor. Had Fontaine remind me I'm American. Took out an elite Rosie. At this point, Big Daddy fights, they're just menial tasks now. The only reason I'm putting them in is so you know I didn't go haywire and just shot it with a shotgun. And yet another little sister was saved. Made it to Suchong's lab. Realized how I got rid of my mind control. Went into the helicopter elevator that spun around a bunch. Drank some magic potion that made my plasmids get all weird, even though I never used plasmids, so this doesn't even matter. Killed yet another Rosie. At this point, these are just menial tasks. Saw Suchong's chiropractor, drank another magic potion, which still did nothing but just gave me my plasmas back. Killed yet another Rosie. Watched him get turned into a lockbox, surprisingly. I then tried to catch Frank Fontaine, who locked me out. Got some magic boots. Got the Big Daddy suit, which made me way more buff. Got the nauseating helmet. Killed a Rosie as a Rosie. Kind of a mono a mono.
What's wrong? No! 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 No!
So it is true. You bring a wrench to a gunfight, I guess you do win. At this point, I'm not even going to commentate these.
Please get up, mister! No! 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 No!
Honestly, the wrench is the best weapon in the game. I then got my vocal cords twisted. Killed another before he could even get his gun on me. Watch this ragdoll get yeeted.
No! 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 No!
Got all the little scent things to make me smell like a gross Big Daddy. And then I bashed my wrench and I got my own little sister. Now I truly am the glorious Big Daddy. I then watched her stab him, poor man. And then I met him himself, Frank Fontaine, who, after learning some lessons, I proceeded to stab violently. And honestly, he only took 10 hits to kill. This was a very easy battle. Then I landed the finishing blow, getting enough Adam down, never use. And that concludes whether you can beat Bioshock with only the wrench. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. This video took a lot of time and effort, and I only was able to get it done when I was sick with COVID now. Appreciate it. See y'all around.